I ever went to Harmon Gym was, I think I was a junior in high school, and my cousin at the time played for UCLA, and he invited us to a game in the Bay Area when they came up to play Cal. It was a nice Saturday afternoon. It was sunny and the sun was shining through Harmon Arena. I didn't trip off, well, the gym was kind of small and everything. It just felt like it was home.
In the 2 years that Kidd and Murray played together at Cal, the Bears lost just 3 games at Harmon. They also made 2 trips to the NCAA tournament. Their success meant more games scheduled off campus to accommodate ticket demand and fueled the growing momentum to fund an expanded arena, though the players of the 90s came to love the gymnasium of the 30s.
You could feel the energy in the place, and that was something that I was really excited about being a part of. I can remember Midnight Madness, my first time practicing at it was sold out, and you could just feel the energy from that night on.
Every single game that we played in Harmon Gym, we just had that atmosphere, that great feeling. Everybody was yelling.
So you could look in the stands and see everybody, and everybody was just so crazy. Instead of the big old 20,000 arenas, I always liked Harmon because it was, kind of a, simple and just, plain and just how loud it got in there.
There's no question the crowd here is like none other in college basketball.
I mean, it's been good to us, and we just want to be good to it still like it is now.
I really love Harmon Gym. I love playing in this gym right here. If I had my choice, I would prefer to keep it like it is now, I'll tell you the truth.
Harmon isn't being torn down so much as built up. A 12,000-seat arena will be constructed around the existing gym. The new facility will maintain the distinctive architecture and intimate atmosphere of Harmon, while improving access, amenities, and spectator comforts. Unlike Harmon, it will be named not just for a financier, but for a fan. In the fall of 1998, the doors will open on the Walter A. Haas Jr. Pavilion.
Wally was at every basketball game, a football game, and truly, truly loved the university.
His love for the university, love for athletic program here, and his counsel was just wonderful.
He was such a fantastic person in many, many ways. I even feel, he was like an idol to me.
His name should be enshrined in athletics here as long as there are athletics here.
The playing floor will remain Newell Court. The spirit will remain the spirit of Harmon. There are many places you can go to watch basketball. There have been very few places like Harmon Gym.
We had a great time at Harmon. Harmon was a great place to play. You looked up and see Florence Newell with 2 or 3 cigarettes lit at one time, and Pete chewing on his towel. These are great, vivid memories of what Harmon was all about. The Straw Hat Band yelling, shouting, the fans right down the edge of the court, and the other team looking over their shoulder, what's going on here? This place is tough to play in. The officials maybe being intimidated, maybe not, and all the alumni sitting down at one end underneath the stands, yelling and encouraging, getting on the opposing players and encouraging those of us that needed encouraging.
A game that stands out in that sophomore year for me was early in the preseason. We're playing Kansas State with Bob Boozer, and I think at the time they were the #1 ranked team in the country, and Boozer was an All-American senior, if I remember right. And I know that as a sophomore, I wasn't starting in the preseason. I cracked the starting lineup during the league games. And I remember being on the floor at the end of the game with Boozer, and I think there were probably 2 juniors and 2 sophomores on the court at crunch time. I know some people think he deliberately lost that game to set us up for later in the year, and he did give 8 or 10 of the players an opportunity to compete against the #1 team in the country. And I know I walked away from that game feeling that we can play with these guys.
One thing I'll always remember is we were playing in Madison Square Garden, and we were practicing in the Armory, and we had to get a cab. And Joe Cap comes out, and Joe and I were sent out to get the cab, and there was a bar there, and a guy gets into this cab, and Joe gets on the other side. Well, a big fight erupts. And Pete didn't want this in the paper at all because we were playing in the Garden. And I'll tell you, bodies were flying all over the place. And Joe said, come on, any more of you? And finally, we got the cabs, of course, and we got sent back to the hotel. And George Sterling, one of our centers at that time, had a broken head. His nose was banged up. We got hit in the nose, and Jack Williamson, our trainer, had taped him up. So that was one. That's the type of team that they were, though. And so very close, and they still are very close. And I'm just happy